The point is dedicated to shedding more light on the disputes ongoing in Muteng and Fako, Tiko subdivision, Fako division of the southwest region of Cameroon. We're going to be looking at what is happening in the village of Buinga in Muteng and Court area. We have had several persons come on My Media Prime to talk about what is happening. We have had mothers weeping for their crops, farmlands that have been seized, properties are destroyed. We also have heard from the supposed chief of Buinga, come here to explain certain things. But recently, new developments came up with a cancellation of some existing villages, newly created villages, and a lot of things have happened. We thought that we should get back to Buinga and know actually what is happening, understanding the steps that have been taken to get to where we are. And also a recent event that took place there, we saw the deal for Tiko subdivision come out with a communique telling Cameroonians what was actually happening out there. In the studio with me is Mola, Mbella, Elive, who is the representative of community members of Buinga, Muteng in a village, and also a regional member of the commission probing into the legality and authenticity of newly created third-class chiefdoms in Fako division. He's going to be shedding light on some of the happenings in Fako division that is known very, very much across the world, Cameroon particularly, as far as chieftaincy matters are concerned, but especially when we talk of land disputes. Mola, we are glad to have you once again on My Media Prime TV Do on the point this time around.
Thank you, Mr. Leo. It's a joint pleasure that I think this is my third time of coming here to tell the population and the world at large on the recent happenings when it comes to chieftaincy matters and land problems, because the two of these things move together. You cannot be a chief without land. And first of all, you must have the population. The space must be there to accommodate your population, and the people, the elites of the place, are the ones who come up with the chief. Okay. So all along we've been having a series of problems. I think this is the 8th year of, in fact, people have gone through hell, just all in the name of creating villages and putting chiefs for the sake of taking lands and selling randomly. I think not long, the Minister of Territorial Administration, His Excellency Minister Paula Tanganji, made it clear severally that there's random creation of chiefdoms in Cameroon, and Fako in particular tops the chart. So it had not been very easy for us to get to work.
It has not been easy for you guys to sort out things out there, but I remember before coming here last time, some mothers, farmers in Buinga village. Can you situate us where Buinga is in Fako division, Mutengene Court area?
Court area, yeah. Mr. Leo, Buinga, today we hear Buinga 1, Buinga 2. Buinga had been one and indivisible. From time immemorial, we had the Buinga. Buinga, before 1911, all of Buinga were, right down where we have even Pamol Buinga, where they used to do this trade by barter market. That's why Pamol, as an establishment, also has land down there in Buinga. Buinga is quite an old village. It is not a newly created village. In 1911, when the main road passed through Limbe, the people had to migrate. The same Buinga people left the downer part and came quite closer to the road, which is, at least it is obvious that when the tires pass, people would like to come by so that they can be doing their businesses and going out at their own pace of time. So Buinga, those people left down there. The same family people came up here after the 2011 road construction. They named them Buinga 2, but it was one and the same Buinga. So by the 19th of January 1982, Buinga was upgraded to a second-class chiefdom. thereby leaving Gbenga, and it was now put Motengene.
Okay.
Yeah, because it then became a post-Politan town, so it was now Motengene. It is Gbenga in Motengene. So Gbenga is quite an old village. It is not a newly created village.
Yeah, but we today we know of that village as Bonganjo. Is it Bonganjo?
Yeah, that is a newly created village that they brought there in 2015. They called it Bonganjo in Motengene. There had been this argument about this Bonganjo, and people have been trying to defend that Bonganjo, that it existed. But I want to tell you, Bonganjo people, you know, normally people migrate a lot. The Bonganjo people who came to Motengene because of this trade by barter market had their own little community whereby they pitched their tents in one of the small areas there in Motengene, just around the Benue Bridge, Benue River. But that did not give them the full right to become a village. Because in those days, you see, those people from other communities will come there and they will choose a family head who will be collecting tax, this poll tax at the time, to go back and pay. If you were coming from Boya, that family will pay back these taxes back to Boya. So some of them were tax collectors. But alone, I mean again, Gbenga, as of this Bonganjo we were talking, had never existed in Motengene court area as a village.
Yeah, but you say it has not existed as a court area in the village. Are there documents to prove of that? Because we saw the chief of Bonganjo on this same platform show us, I don't know whether they call it gazette, that indicates that Bonganjo is a village that existed in the past, that has been existing for so long.
Yes, if he says, or if he said that Bonganjo had existed for so long, who was the first and the last chief before he came to be a chief? That is the question. If you say a village existed for long, even let's say 100 years, who was the last chief before he became a chief of that Bonganjo? That could not be proven even during our commission. Our commission sat and we examined all of those documents. Unlike he's moving along, I mean, he has a map of 836 hectares. That is the Bonganjo community land. 836 hectares of land. You just go to a place, you draw a site plan, they sign it, that is village land. We say no. There had never been a Bonganjo village in Tiko. If you go back to the 2015 Gazette, published Gazette by the then Minister of Territorial Administration, Rene Sadi Emmanuel, you will see there clearly that the Bonganjo, we have upper and lower Bonganjo. They are all situated in Boya, not in Tiko subdivision.
Not in Tiko subdivision. Now, we had videos of some farmers who complained of destruction of farms and a host of others. Have things changed down there?
Things are even getting worse. And that is why our DO for Tiko had been doing a lot. He had put a lot of administrative injunction order, restraining sales, buildings, and even, in fact, I don't know how to put it, but you see, that so-called chief has been violating those administrative injunctions with impunity. That is why at times we ask ourselves, but what is happening? If a prefectorial order, because I am a member of the commission, to probe into the legality and the authenticity of these newly created villages. And we did everything. We exhausted all what we could by bringing documents. We asked them to bring documents. And what we saw as documents, I mean, there were no justified reasons for saying those places were villages. Yes.
Now, the farms were destroyed, properties destroyed also. The injunction order was placed there by who?
By the subdivisional officer.
Tiko subdivision?
Tiko subdivision.
He placed the injunction order and it was never respected?
It was never respected.
Was he powerless in front of the chief?
Not at all. He was not powerless, because I can remember not long he carried out a raid in that place, and some of those hoodlums are there awaiting trial in Boya. You see, most often this so-called chief whose prefectorial order has been cancelled, carries out these buildings during nocturnal hours like midnight on Sundays and Saturdays when he knows that the SDO is not there, the DO is not on seat. So again, you see, as I'm saying, the DO is doing a lot. And before the DO came in, his predecessor has handled this matter and carried the file to the senior divisional officer. So by protocol, he could not have brought those files back. He only had to accompany the senior divisional officer to make sure that this problem is resolved at the level of the SDO's office.
Yeah, what caused the divisional officer to place an injunction order on a village? Is it possible?
Yes, when we talk of...
He was placing the injunction order, was it over Buinga village or Bojongo, Wunganjo village?
Yes, in 2015, when I wrote a complaint to the DO, Tico, then DO was there, he was also surprised to see that Mr. Litake came there claiming that that place was his village, Bonganjo village. So to avoid problems around the area, he had to put an injunction order. And in his injunction order, Articles 1 and 2, it was clearly said, written there, that these orders shall not be abrogated until the final determination of the matter, whether that land was found in Bonganjo village or Gbenga village, all in Mutengene. He put this injunction to, you know, when there is tension in the place, the administration has a right to put an injunction to avoid, a breach of peace. So that were the reasons why he had to put that injunction, and that this decision was going to be taken by a competent land consultative board. And it is the DO who is the chairman of the land consultative board. And those lands which do not have land certificates are under the control of the, call it the land consultative board. That is why if you take such a matter in court, the court will refer you back because they don't have the power to adjudicate on that land. Not until it has a land certificate, even though some people have procured land certificates on that land. So the DO normally chiefs are auxiliaries to the administration. So if somebody comes here that I am a chief, and unfortunately some of them were given prefectorial orders, which we tend to work on them and finally cancelled.
No, I would like to read this. The divisional officer for Tico subdivision informs the general public that for some time now, various social media outlets have embarked on a large-scale mediatization of unverified facts relating to a certain arrest and detention of some youth said to be members of a vigilante group in the village of Bonganjo. Conversely, to what the various videos and other commentaries registered portray, this is rather a ploy to deviate public attention from ongoing investigations into the indiscriminate, illegal and criminal sale of farmlands belonging to private persons by one Litake Mwanga Mbwa. Upon information of a recent large-scale destruction of vast hectares of farmland, still under administrative injunction, in the disputed Bonganjo Esuke Buinga area, the divisional officer, accompanied by all his close aides of the forces of law and order and subdivisional delegates of agriculture and rural development TICO, as well as other villagers, went to the site and was confronted with the despicable acts of destruction of palm plantations, food and cash crops by hired bulldozer under the sponsorship of Mr. Litake. While on the said inspection tour, the team identified a makeshift structure constructed by the aforementioned, housing a number of hoodlums who on approach took to their heels, jumping into the nearby bushes through the windows. Fortunately, 2 of the suspects were arrested, and later on another 2 who had earlier escaped, all high on drugs. And on the spot search by the security officers uncovered a quantity of marijuana and other hard drugs, all found in their keeping. The divisional officer further reiterates that Bonganjo village vigilante group had been suspended by sub-prefectural decision since 2020, and therefore any persons acting in such a capacity had been doing so in total illegality. The matters of destruction of farmland, illegal sale and criminal transactions on the said dispute area, not leaving out the 4 suspects apprehended, are before the courts of law for justice to take its course. However, he wishes to reassure the peace-loving and law-abiding population of Tiko subdivision that no stone shall be left unturned in the resolute stride to guarantee their peace and security. This was November 15, 2022. How is the situation like today?
Yes, the situation, you see, after the DO's arrest, some of them went on media and were accusing the DO for, not knowing its limits. In fact, I was so embarrassed because when I hear some of them say the DO does not know its limits, the DO is doing everything to make the population of Tiko to be in peace. Even though what he's doing there, like yesterday, he called people that they should come and take land. I consider and term that as the latest Nollywood movie, which he is doing down there. Because when you find documents like this in place, know that the administration is working. And when he's going there overnight, like yesterday, was a Saturday, he called people that they should come and take land. I am telling the population and I'm asking them, how can somebody be calling you to come and take land? You buy land, you know that there's an injunction order there. I can remember in 2017, that was on the 12th of September 2017, when he violated some of those administrative orders, a municipal demolition order was signed that those houses, including the one that he has built, should be demolished. But as you asked the question before, that is it that they are afraid of him? No. The administration is slow but very sure they will get there. So the situation has not changed that much because some of them who are no more chiefs, they will tell the population, no, it is only my prefectorial order that has been cancelled, but the village remains my village. How can you have a village and you say you've cancelled your prefectorial order and you say you have, we who were members or who are members of this commission, we were there to probe into this matter so well and discovered that those villages never existed. So if there was no village, how can there be a chief? That's how those things were cancelled. So all what he's doing there, I will still repeat, those are latest Nollywood movies. Because I think the administration will still sit up. Yeah,
but now farmlands were destroyed, properties also destroyed, and they have been taken before the court of law. Who is taking who to court?
Yes, like the DO did. He took the subdivisional delegate for agriculture who went and did evaluation. And the matter, after that, he has to write his report. Anybody who is involved in that destruction, we forwarded the names to the DO. He has written his report. He has to send it to the legal department, and the legal department has to follow the law. Because at the end of the day, people who are there have their documents, in fact, proving that they are owners of those properties.
Now, hereby, I want to read it, that from the date of signature of the present order, prefectorial order of 28 March 2019, to confirm the designation of Mr. Litake Mwanga Mboa as third-class chief of Bonganjo village, Tiko subdivision in Fako, Southwest region, is hereby cancelled for breach of statutory procedure, notably Article 7 of Decree number 1977. Now, what happened for this to be done?
Yes, it is just immediately they started creating these new villages.
Yeah.
They never followed the law. If you want to create a village, the administration, there are procedures. There are procedures. In fact, there's a confusion in the whole thing. Were they creating or reviving? That was the question we're asking them. Are you creating or you are reviving? Whether you want to create or you want to revive, there is a procedure. And they violated all of those procedures because they just needed land. So they could just look for a reserve land, government reserve land, or call it what. They will just say, oh, this is my village. Whether that village is in the Gazette or not.
Now, who is the chief of Buinga village that you claim is existing? You are talking on behalf of the people of Buinga.
Yes, sir.
Right?
Yes, sir.
Who is the chief of that village?
For now, I want to say they did consultative talks in 2018, September 2018. The consultative talks were contested. And that's why the homologation of the chief of Mutengene was suspended. And by right, if your homologation is suspended, because I can quite remember, after that, the minister has written to the senior divisional officer who was there before now, and we had visited his office, there must be a redo of the Mutengene second-class chiefdom, because there is a suspension of homologation. And that is why, at the end of the day, when they said there was Benga 1, Benga 2, and Mutengene, we were now asking, where is the position of the second-class chief of Mutengene if there's Benga 1 and 2? So as at now, I want to tell you the consultative talks that were done on the 17th of September 2018 somehow, the homologations were suspended. So Mutengene, even in our commission report, it was written that Mutengene, the chieftaincy, has to be redone.
Is Bwenga the chief of Bwenga the chief of Mutengene? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, because the chief of Bwenga should be the chief of Mutengene. Because when Isaac Ngomba Ngeka in 1978, he was the chief of Bwenga from Wonyamekuke. In 1979, it was Frederick Luma Mambie who took over him. Even though the Gazette says he took over Mukinganje, but you see, there was a Gazette. Those were Benga people. So in 1982, this Benga chiefdom was removed from a third class to a second class. So it is the same Benga. I think you get the point. It is the same Benga, because Luma Frederick Mambie took over Isaac Ngomba Ngeka as it is from 1978, 79, up till he died in the year 2000. So in 1982, when he was still a third class chief, Mutengene was upgraded to a second class chiefdom. So that is Benga. That is Benga.
Are you saying that Bonganjo is a creation of a part of Mutengene?
Bonganjo, I want to tell you frankly, as I told you, they pitched their little tents as a family who migrated from Boya, and they were doing trade by barter in Benga market.
How linked is the Bonganjo to the Bonganjo that is under the Bojongo court area?
Yes, that Bonganjo, you know, they are just behind Tole. So they could move on foot to Benga. That is just the simplest thing. They could move on foot to Benga. And you know, in those days when you come, you see, people migrated a lot. And they give you space to live. But just truly, there had been no time except now when a Bonganjo man, a settler, opted to be a chief in Benga. There hadn't been a time like that. And that is why we asked the question, who was the last or first chief who was in Bonganjo? If that village had existed for years, who was he?
No, how is it? There is a Bonganjo under Boya.
Boya. Yeah, there are two Bonganjo.
This other Bonganjo is under Tiko subdivision. The one that we are talking about.
Yes. They put it on that Tiko subdivision.
How is there a link, or is it a coincidence of names?
There's no link at all. No links at all. It was a total mafia. That I will tell you, it was a complete mafia. Because if not of a mafia, we had to look through any links that brought these people together. There was no link. And it is unfortunate. I have a memorandum of understanding that they drew between the Benga chief-elect, whose homologation has been suspended, and this so-called chief of Bonganjo. They came up with a memorandum of understanding that if you make me a chief, I will also make you a chief. And that is how, in their compensation, under their memorandum of understanding, they said he was going to give them land if they make him a chief. So those are the documents that we took to Yaoundé, so that Yaoundé then now discovered that. So is this what was going on? And that is how it resulted to the suspension of the homologation of the chief of Mutengene. Yes. They had no links. And those documents leaked when we were struggling to get what really was going on.
Now, how far is the case? how far have you guys gone with the case? Are you involved with it, or is the divisional officer that is following up? They communicate by the divisional officer for Tico subdivision indicates that 2 persons were taken, 2 other persons were taken. They have been locked up. What is the situation?
Yes, particularly on those guys, as you've read through that document, we caught them with drugs. So that alone is punishable. Yes, we caught them. They were on drugs.
Yeah, but what is the link between that and the land that is being fought for?
Yeah, they were caught on the land because when that caterpillar was carrying on that wanton destruction, the DO, after the complaints, had to move with his etat-major to the site. And we caught them there, flagrant delito. They were there, smoking.
Yeah, but did they tell you that they are there on behalf of the chief?
Oh, interesting. You know what we discovered? We had 3 allocation letters signed by the chief of Bonganjo, Mbua, giving them land. The documents are there with the police. The documents are there, allocation letters signed by the chief, meaning that he's bringing these small young people, telling them that he has land to give them.
Now, there is an injunction order on that piece of land, and then there is this cancellation letter that dates 28th of October 2022. Yeah. Are there still activities going on there?
There are. That is the bone of contention. Now, you see, I even spoke to one of the senior citizens of this country, here, Professor Dorothy Munganjoma, who happened to be the coordinator of this commission. We have a lot of worries. If they have cancelled your prefectorial order, and you are still there saying that, oh, they've just cancelled my prefectorial order, my village remains. In fact, when we went into this commission, this land grabbing was one of the phenomenon that we discovered that if we don't deal squarely with it, these people will still be creating more problems. How can you say they have removed you, they have cancelled their prefectorial order, and you are there still selling land on top of an administrative injunction? That is our worries. So the administration, we are now saying that the administration should complete the job. I think that is where we are trying to head to. Let them complete the job, because cancelling these prefectorial orders might not be enough, even though it is enough. But by their violation of these orders shows that the administration still has to do something to make sure that the whole thing is complete.
Yes, but there is an injunction on land.
There is.
There is a cancellation.
Yes.
And there are still activities ongoing.
Ongoing.
With persons, is it the fact that they are ignorant of these decisions, or they are being deceived, or is defiance?
I think they are being deceived. I think those people are being deceived on the grounds that most of these prefectorial orders have not been circulated out. And like he is selling, if I know that this place has an administrative injunction, I cannot buy. It is because they are not telling their customers the truth. If you see the rampant, building of houses ongoing in that place, you will ask a series of questions. But that is why we say no, the administration should complete its job.
Yeah, because the question is, if administration has actually placed an injunction, and then there is a cancellation, and then you say sales are ongoing.
They are ongoing.
Is the administration not aware?
I don't want to say they are aware, because like the DO, as you saw, or what we've read there, he went to the field himself, caught these guys who were there.
But after this action, are they no longer selling?
The chief is still selling. He's still selling. This is a recent injunction. It is a recent injunction. So that's why I'm here to tell the people, the population, that they should be aware. The administration is slow but sure. We shall get at that point. We shall get there at that point. So we want to enlighten the population, because I don't know that this money that they are spending does not pain them. You see, we are avoiding a situation where people should clash, even though there have been a series of assaults on that land. Yes, there have been. We are in court. But again, we cannot be in court and people are there building. Yes, we are doing everything to exhaust all the available means to maintain peace.
Yep, the chief of Bonganjo is there. You guys say it's Bwinga. He says it's Bonganjo. Why can you people not come to a consensus?
Yes, with him, you mean with him?
Yes.
No, how can you come to a consensus with somebody who is violating administrative orders? Because putting an administrative injunction
No, calling him to order that, see, what you are doing is not nice. We think that this is the best way out of this.
Yeah, but that's why I say the administrator would have been the best mediator. Not so. If he is violating the instructions of the administrator, not so, and he is selling. And I think he wants to believe that is outlaw, and that which I think is not. Because if you say we should call him to order, we cannot sit on a table with somebody who came to, in fact, grab people's property. Because all what he's doing there is, as I said it, that's the latest Nollywood movie is playing down there.
What is Bwinga One?
They are all in one place. It's just, there's no Bwinga One. You see, as I told you, the Bwinga was right down. It was during 2011 when they constructed this main road. That's when some of them came up. So it is 1 and 2. It's all in one and the same place. Yes. It is all in one and the same place.
Is there a chief?
No, recently there was a chief who was consulted for Bwinga 1 and Bwinga 2. When our commission went to work, all of them were removed because there was a mix-up somewhere. Just as I told you, Bwinga was one and indivisible. Were they creating or were they rehabilitating? That's the problem. No, nothing stops them from creating if the administration says yes. But if you want to create, the administration should be, in fact, in line with the chieftaincy is an institution governed by law. So if Bwinga 1 wanted to revive, I don't know whether they wanted to revive or they wanted to create, because it is that same Bwinga from 3rd class to 2nd class. But they still have the right to follow the procedure, and if you want to make Bwinga 1 and 2, it is left for the administration. But not on this, they are unorthodox means that they were trying to go through.
You are a member of the regional member of the commission probing into the legality and authenticity of newly created 3rd class chiefdoms in Fako division. What has been the outcome of your commission since creation?
Yes, since creation, as I said, on the 9th of February last year, it was officially put in place, installed by the governor.
Yeah.
We had working sessions. I think the first successful work we've done is to identify these 36 newly created villages and their prefectorial orders cancelled. So that far that's how far we've gone. And I think that has put some sanity in the whole thing.
Do you think these decisions taken to cancel is going to be effective? Are persons not going to use money to also make sure that some of these decisions are overturned?
Yeah, I think their money will go on the drain. Reasons being that if you look at that article which has been cited, the decree which has been cited, right down to when the chieftaincy issue started in Cameroon, these orders came from the presidency of the republic, boiled down to His Excellency, the Minister of Territorial Administration, who to have been hammering so hard on this rampant creation of villages. He had been so outspoken about it. And that is why those orders from the Minister of Territorial Administration, they boiled down to the governor. And that's how the governor had to put in place this commission. So anybody who thinks that he will go and look for money to go and look for his way out, I want to tell you, Cameroon is not a banana state. It has taken a decision. And that decision, we believe, it stands.
What are some of the things that your commission looked into to come to the conclusion that this village or chief is not authentic or original?
Yes, first of all, we used the 1909 map, 1910 map.
Okay.
Came right down to, in fact, documents from Minat. Went down to the national cartography maps to see whether those villages ever existed. We exhausted all available means to make sure, because we avoided criticism. And if you go into the terms of reference of that commission, they were looking, I mean, without any prejudices, we're looking where are you coming from? What is really happening? How did you manage to be here? We put all of this together and we made sure, and that's why some other members were co-opted. Elderly people were co-opted into this commission. What you see there are some members who also were co-opted. And that's why we find even traditional rulers as members of this commission. We have second-class traditional rulers who were there, and even third-class traditional rulers who were there in this commission. And we had elderly people, notables. So we did everything to make sure that this commission, we did not give room for any criticism. And before you get such prefectorial orders cancelled by the senior divisional officer, everything was exhausted and put in place. And that's why we say the commission has done a good job, the administration has done a good job. We just need to finish the job, complete it by avoiding these land issues, that means destroying people's property. Because like you see, he brought a caterpillar destroying people's property. Today, people are in court. So those old women who have been there for years, widows and widowers who have been there for years, he comes today, that is my village. He doesn't respect prefectorial orders. If you see all those prefectorial orders, his names are mentioned on all of them. And as I told you, there is a demolition order, which must be reinforced. Anybody who is building there should know that that demolition order must be reinforced. It is there.
Yeah, but you are the one saying so. It takes the forces of law and order to implement. What powers do you have to?
Yeah, it is like when we started this thing, they said, when they have put a chief is a chief forever. They never knew that after 8 years, they will put a commission to probe into this thing. It is equal. Cameroon is a state of law, no matter how long it will take. These documents are there. They are there for references, because if the senior divisional officer is here, the sub-divisional officers are there, the procurator general are there. We are doing everything to make sure that these documents are given the widest publicity. Because it is through the media that people are, in fact, educated on what is really going on. Because there are some people who are going there to take lands and they don't know that that place has an administrative injunction. Not one.
We talk about Buinga. Where precisely is it? Starts from where to where?
Yeah, Buinga starts from, it has a boundary with Ebonji, right down in Tiko. Mm-hmm. Yes. Then it has its boundary again with mile 14, Dibanda. Mm-hmm. Has its boundary with Upper Mevio, that's towards Ombe. Mm-hmm. And then
Mevio
Mebenge, then with 7 mile around Moliwe.
Okay.
Yes.
And coming up this way?
Coming up this, also you're going to Limbe. Yes, Benga is quite right down where you have Pamol Benga, to the creeks. Most of the Monte banana plantations are in Benga farms. Yes.
Now, in all of this, we have the farmers whose crops and farms have been destroyed. We have properties destroyed, and lots of, there is Bunganjo, there is Buinga. What are the chiefs themselves? What are they saying? The Fako chiefs, especially those of Tiko subdivision. Yes,
just as you say, that's why the second-class chief of Tiko was a member of this commission. And he is a member of this commission. And he was there. He too also was so bitter about it. And in fact, all what was done, he also participated and made sure. He's an aged man, he's more than 80 years. And you know, historical facts are gotten from aged people of his group. And he said that Bunganjo had never existed. And that the commission has done its job and sent it to the administration for cancellation. They have done it. But when they are still disrespecting administrative injunctions, we are now calling for the administration to take a harder step. To take a harder step. Just as I'm saying, if they are building as they are building there, as I'm telling you, we have to make sure that demolition municipal order is reinforced. It is not a new one. It must be reinforced. And there are procedures to follow. But I want to say, we have to look at the level by which that order must be reinforced. Yes. Because when we complain at the level of at our level here.
Mola, you are talking as a representative of members of that community.
Yeah.
But there's no chief there. Are you working alone, or you're working with a commission or a committee that is taking care of the village?
No, I'm working with a commission. Like down there in Benga, as I told you, there is a council of elders, which was left there by the former chief.
Okay.
Yeah, they are there. And some of them are members of this commission. Yes. Some of them are members of the commission who are sons and daughters of the Benga soil. So I'm not working alone. We are working with them.
How much support have you received from the administration? You're not also frustrated by the fact that an injunction is given? I've seen letters written to you by the minister, yet nothing is moving.
Yes, letters which were written to me by the minister referred me back to the former SDO.
Yes, the synergy.
And we've heard, he too also put a commission before he left, the former SDO. He put a commission. I worked with the commission with him. But you see, he has gone, even though he even signed that demolition order.
Okay.
Yes. So the administration has done its own, but you know, you have to still to tell the administration that it is not yet enough, because when people are crying and people are still building, it means they are trying to downlook the administration. So the administration has to do something. That's why we are saying the population should be aware that if you are going there, know that that place has an administrative injunction. And not long from now, we have to make sure the administration reinforces that demolition order.
Yeah, but now you are commissioned for the probing into the legality and authenticity of newly created third-class chiefs and chiefdoms in Fako division. Did you have time to talk with some of these third-class chiefs and members of the villages to ask them the reasons for the creation of these villages in the 20th century?
Yes, I want to tell you one thing. During their, call it
consultative talks?
Consultative talks. Yeah. Some of them were not done in those villages that they claim that they are theirs. You heard the minister saying it, that some of those consultative talks were done in off-licenses. So, how can you carry a consultative talk in an off-license and you bring people from all over Boya, Mapanja, Bojongo, Bando, call it Konjo and so on, that those are people of your village? I agree, there used to be migration, but again, how can you carry a consultative talk of your village in an off-license? How come? And that is why during this period we asked them to bring their documents to our subdivisional commissions, and they brought them, and we questioned who was the first or last chief of your village. None told us one. Yeah, so the whole thing, creation of those villages were, I mean, they were looking for the land. I agree. Everybody wants to own land, I agree, but follow the proper procedure.
Follow the proper procedure. You are working with a commission to protect Bringaland and its community. Yes. And the guys of Bunganjo are also there. It's a big community. What do you want to happen to them? They've invested also there.
That's why I'm telling you, the people like yesterday whom we brought, some are coming from Boya, Limbe, Douala, that people should come and take land. What have they invested? From the day that this injunction order was put, there was no building on that land. Immediately after that injunction in 2017, he built a house, and here you can find a demolition order to break down that house. So if they are investing, they are investing, I mean, contrary to the injunction order. They were not supposed to invest. Yes, they were not supposed to invest. That's why the injunction order was placed in 2015. Because people had been there before 2015. People have been there for more than 80 years. He himself is not up to 50 years of age. And he came in 2015 to build a house on top of an injunction order. So his investments In fact, it's contrary to the injunction order. And that's why there must be discipline. There must be discipline. If an order says, don't construct until the matter is resolved, you go on constructing. Why will you talk about destruction or investment? You cannot talk about investment when you were warned before time. That is it. When you were warned before time, you cannot talk about investment, because at the time that this injunction order was put, he had not built a house there. Yes.
Now, you say most of the creations of these third-class chiefdoms is because of land? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I agree. That's it.
Yeah, but they're not scared of what may happen to them, like what is happening today. Did we really see? Did you walk through the villages, the created villages? Did you see the villagers actually living there?
No villager was living in any of those villages. None. None. And that's why I say, if you go to our commission, you find chiefs, legitimate chiefs, who are in this commission. Mm-hmm. And I want to tell you, all villages have their boundaries. All villages have, and they know their boundaries. You cannot come in this century to say, oh, this is where my village was. But even if that village was there, you know, people are there who knows the original boundaries of that village. Yes, so you don't come to see you, and that's the problem. Because when he came there, the Benga people also were not happy.
But where are the Benga people? Why is it only Mola who is talking? Where are they? Where are the elders?
That is it. No, that's why I said there are some elders in this commission.
No, I mean the elders of Benga itself. Where are they? Why are they not talking?
Yeah, they have been talking. They have been talking. But
where are they talking?
They are saying that that boy, the man who came there, that village is not his village. So if he can be undermining the administrative orders, then who are you? That's what we are saying. They have been talking, they have been writing. I have a series of letters where the Benga people signed, took to the senior divisional officer, took to the sub-divisional officer. They have written. It is not like they are staying quiet. They have been writing. That's why I'm asking, if he can violate administrative orders, I don't want to believe that he's an outlaw.
The chief we are talking about here was on my platform, Prime R, with a gazette that carries that village as found in Tico subdivision. Are you saying that that gazette was fake?
Totally fake. As a member of the commission, he brought it. We verified it. It is like when you go to, he brought a map, that this map of 836 hectares is represented by me, the chief of Bonganjo, stamped, signed by a surveyor. When we got into that map, when we probed into that map, it was like you come to say, this is Monaberi, this is Monamusadi. Draw me a map, a surveyor will draw you a map of 800 hectares. It is not ownership. Drawing a site plan is not ownership. And that's how he's deceiving people. You come there, you see a map, block A, block B. So all what he brought here, we examined all of those documents in our commission and discovered that they were fake. If not fake, I asked a simple question. Who was the last chief? He wrote his memorandum of understanding that his maternal grandfather was the last chief. I brought documents of 1971. The maternal grandfather was never a chief. So he can parade any documents because he wants to be a chief. And that's what has been happening. The government is not foolish to create a commission to probe into the legality and authenticity.
Yep.
And we did that.
Yep. Why I even accepted to have this program is because I feel for many persons. I also have some problems on lands in Fako division, and many more persons are going to be buying lands, and especially in cases where some chiefdoms have been cancelled, chiefs themselves cancelled, and people are not aware of. Would it not be better if I had you, the chief, and maybe a member of this commission, so that we discuss this?
Yes, it will be absolutely important, but again...
Especially the chief of Tico now?
Yes, the chief of Tico.
Yes.
The chief of Tico. But you see, there are differences between the land surrender. Because once CDC surrenders you land, it is not your personal land. That's land for the community, for the families to share. And if you are buying land, you should buy it from maybe one of the family members who've already had his share. Then you are free. But like this land that this young man has gotten into, is not land surrender. That is an indigenous land of the Benga people. You go there, you find graves. You find a lot of investment done there by the people. And just as people will not reason, if you say you want to buy land, you go to a place where somebody will not show you a newly out land surrender document. He tells you, I am a chief and I want to give you this land. The chief is a custodian. He too equally has his own family and he has his family property. But he is the head who makes sure that if you are coming to buy land from this family group, you should be sure. Go and see the chief. Chief, is this man the rightful owner of this property? The chief is there to confirm that. Yes, go and buy. If you come, I will sign you an attestation acknowledging that you've bought land or you've acquired land in the village. And that should be registered. So anybody, like we are saying today, anybody who is going to buy land down there, just as you asked, what about how much they've developed on the land? I'll tell you, there had been an administrative injunction order since 2015, and as at 2015, that particular disputed area did not have a house. So anybody who is coming behind to buy and build should be ready to face the consequences any moment soon.
Okay, we are going to be wrapping up. What do you expect from the administration as we speak?
Yes, that's a good one, of course. We expect the administration that after the cancellation of their prefectorial orders, this commission must have finished its work by giving the proper reports. Just like you see what is happening. The administration is supposed to, that place, as I told you, that injunction order is protracted for 8 years. People have gone through hell. That injunction order should be uplifted. The name of that place should be reinstated, and that demolition order signed, visaed by the SDO should be reinforced. That is what they call maintenance of law and order. So that anybody going there should know that things are rough. Because you cannot imagine, today you go, you carry people who are carrying on constructions there, you lock them at the gendarmes, tomorrow they are released. You're creating enmity for nothing. It is not enough. The gendarmes are there to maintain law and order. Good and fine. But again, it has reached a point where they too are tired. We lock today, the orders come from above release. So we want the administration to complete its job. So that's the next step. They should complete their job. And those people who are building there should be aware that there's trouble in that place.
There's trouble in this place. You've been fighting this for how many years today? Are you not afraid, Mola?
No, you cannot be afraid on something which is yours. Yeah, you only have to be afraid if something is not yours. And God takes care of those people who fight for the truth. I cannot be afraid, you know. Yeah, because I have properties in Benga. Some with land certificates. They are there. But I cannot sit quiet to see Cameroonians, human beings, their properties being seized under the canopy of chieftaincies. That I'm a chief. It doesn't go now. If that were the case, then I am not sure these nations would have been independent. Yes, the countries wouldn't have been independent. Nigeria is a big power. They would have seized our Bakassi land, but the law was put in place, and we took our portion of land back. So we expect the administration to make sure what belongs to you should be assigned to you. Because if this injunction is uplifted, the name of the place reinstated, Because you cannot go to court now and even sue for disturbance of quiet enjoyment, because that injunction order deprives you of those rights. Immediately you get to court with an administrative injunction, you are claiming the land when there's an administrative injunction, you cannot sue for disturbance of quiet enjoyment because there's trouble on the land. But if it is uplifted and the name reinstated, the disturbance of quiet enjoyment, and the courts will take appropriate measures and send some of them to prison. That's when there will be peace in that place. So we are asking this injunction order to be uplifted, the name of that place reinstated, because it is there in it's Article 2 of that injunction, that these orders shall not be abrogated until the final determination of the matter. That is whether that place is found in Benga, Bonga Njoesuke. So now that they have cancelled the prefectorial order, they should reinstate the name of that place for peace to reign.
For peace to reign, what if the name was reinstated, the chief is going to be designated?
No, if the name is reinstated, it's no more Bonganjo.
No, I mean the chief of Benga.
Yeah, the chief of Benga per se, you see, you asked a very intelligent question. What is he doing? But just as I told you, he cannot fight that much. You know, he hasn't got a signature. Yes, you cannot fight that much. If they have suspended their homologation, because of it, that is what the minister wrote. So following numerous complaints deriving from the consultative talks, I have decided to suspend the homologation till further notice. So you don't have a signature. That is clear. It is very clear. If that document was not in place, you say, okay, they consulted him, so he still has some powers. They have suspended the homologation, meaning that he hasn't got a signature. Yes. So he cannot talk much. He cannot talk much on this crisis. That is the truth. If he could have had enough time for himself, he was the person who would have solved this problem before now. Just for the fact that he has no signature, that's why problems are still there. That is just the simple truth.
Okay, Mola, we hope that the message has gone through to the people of the Southwest region particularly, and those of Mutengene. We hope that peace finally returns in Buinga village, though also called Bonganjo. The stretch between main town Mutengene down towards Ombe.
Towards Ombe. Yeah.
Towards Ombe. On the left and right side of the road, or just
no, the left side.
So that is where we are today. We hope that your commission members are also working very well. Us is to pray for reasoning to return, and that people can finally live in peace. We want to thank you coming all the way from the Southwest region to honor our invitation to clarify our audience on what is actually happening down there. Thank you for coming.
Thank you, Mr. Leo. It has been a joint pleasure. Thank you very much.
We also want to thank all of you who took time off this evening to watch this program. We only can wish you a wonderful night. Stay blessed. Bye-bye.
Thank you, sir.